Well, it very near wiped out the family. My grandfather owned a grocery store in Pratt City, and my daddy worked for him. He was his assistant, and Aunt Nell was, she kept the books and everything in the grocery store. They had a thriving business until the Depression, and then it was back then everybody charged their groceries, and they would be delivered to the home. So people lived all over the city of Birmingham, and they would call up and order their groceries. And that was fine as long as they would pay their bills at the end of the month. But then when it came the Depression times, people didn't have any money, and they could not keep on paying for their groceries. And my daddy and my granddaddy kept on letting them charge. And a lot of those people never paid them a dime for their groceries. And finally, they went out of business. And so when it went out of business, that my daddy was laid off, and my granddaddy was laid off, and Aunt Nell was laid off. They never did pick the grocery business back up. It was just gone by then. But my daddy was an engineer, and he went to work for TCI, and he worked there for many years.
He worked for the WPA for a time too, didn't
He worked for the WPA in Tennessee, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and so he did that, and we lived with my grandmother Sessions at that time. That's where I was born, was in my grandmother Sessions' home. Gran had phlebitis, so that meant that Granny had to take care of the baby. Plus, she had roomers, people that lived in the house with them. And Harry was still there, and Babe was still there. They were single people. So everybody pitched in to help, and they turned Granny's dining room, which was a great big room, into the nursery and the sick room for me. So everybody looked after the baby, and I was in the bed all the time. Back then, they didn't let you get up to do anything. You had to lay there all the time.
You mean Gran was laying in the bed, not you?
Gran was laying in the bed all that time.
Yeah.
So everybody else was taking care of the baby, and every night they would give me a bath in front of the fire, in the fireplace, and it was the show of the day for everybody to come down and watch the baby get a bath. So I was entertainment part of the time, and a distraction and work the rest of the time. But it took everybody to take care of Mama, and that was good. She was there where her mother could take care of her.